Hey guys, Danny here at Partay. So I want to show you a couple of things today. First of all, I want to cover off on some points here. So let's take a look at the panel. This is a test panel that I use quite often just to prototype stuff. Now what I did is I actually had this haft, and this is the high G that we've been working on. This was meant for something for ultra short throw, which did not work out. So it's just kind of there. But this in the center is Vega. And so this is what I want you to draw your attention to if you can. I'll talk about the high G in just a minute, but this is just a Vega. Now I'm going to show you that by comparison. Now this is the Supreme 8, same panel I've been using all this time. And I want you to see sort of the difference between the finishes here. Also, this is like sandpaper, guys. It's that dry. Toenail dry is what this is. Very dry product. All right, so what I'm going to do is before we start, I also want to go ahead and get our settings going. So I just want you to focus in on the settings. Sorry. Here we go. So I want you to see here. I'm going to go into the image settings. And you can see we're in cinema. Wall colors off, brightness 0, contrast 0, sharpness is at 12. I like sharp. Colors at 6. Get us back up here again, sorry. And then our gamma. Gamma's important, guys. I know a lot of people don't really talk about it, but gamma's in 2.2. I could drop that down to 2.4 and get additional contrast there. But let's keep it at 2.2 standard. Color settings are set at 5, I believe. Dynamic black is at off. Brightness mode is in eco. And then that takes care of it. So I'm going to set this down so that we keep that there. And we're setting about a little over 10.5 feet, about 10 feet, 7 inches from the screen. I've got window light. You can see it's awfully bright outside today. It is. I'll take you over here. You can see it's good and sunny. This is not... It's funny, we had snow yesterday. We had a good bit of snow yesterday morning. And then today we're going to be in the middle 60s. So crazy weather. But I want you to see that the lights are on full on. Okay. So everything's on full. There's our panels. And then I'm going to put our Supreme 8 right here up against that. I want you to see that that is actually behind the light. Now, let's take a look at what we got. So a lighter gray screen, as I've shown you before, guys, as a lighter gray screen, because I don't want to focus on the black here, or this over here we don't want to focus on at all. That's just a mess. But this is the high G, but we want to focus on the Vega right here. This is Goppity Goop Vega. Now, you notice you can't make out much on the Supreme 8. That's because, as I told you, while it might be darker, the problem is that it's a dry surface paint. It's just over-the-counter paint that's been watered down. And because it's a dry surface paint, get us back here. Because it's a dry surface paint, the light washes your brights out. While it may hold the color of the actual panel, you know, in light longer, because it is such a matte, dark color. It's not black, guys. I know you've been told time and time again that it's jet black. It is not. And I'll show you just how black it isn't in a second compared to the high G. But because of surface, it's just as susceptible to washout as any other screen. It's just as it washes out, you're going to see pretty much just the color of the screen. And then once the light gets above and beyond that, it actually starts to make the screen look lighter because, light's overtaken the color of the screen even. It's just like if you hold something underneath the light, it'll make it brighter, right? For an example, this is black. You can see it's black, but as the light starts to overtake it, it's not black anymore. And it's the same thing here. Now, folks could say, well, you're standing in front. It could just be a very high gain screen, but you're going to lose brightness. Here's the truth. It is a high gain screen, and it does have a half gain, but I want you to pay attention to something. I have to get all the way to an extreme angle for mine to match that gain. Far, far left angle. Far, far right angle, right? But I'm not watching from there. As a matter of fact, I love how my wife puts it. Whenever she was helping me with this, just giving me some feedback on the high G, because that's what we've been working on. But I was looking at that and I said, look, it matches when I get to the far right or the far left. And she was laughing. She said, yeah, but who the hell is going to be watching from that angle anyway? My point exactly. And I just put that question out there for you guys. I mean, I don't know anybody who sits and watches their screen from this angle. Not unless you're just kind of passing by and looking at something, but that's pretty much going to be it. Most of the time you're going to be at this angle. You're going to be over at this angle. And as you can see, you're just not making out anything. So let's let that play for a second. So while you might hold a darker panel with this, the reality is it's washing out faster than the gray panel by far. But also all of your brightness, all your vibrance in your images that you're going to watch are gone. Just gone. All right, so now that's high contrast and high light. Let's pause that. Actually, let's don't pause it. Let's go pick up something that's actually supposed to be impossible. Actually, I'm going to do one more first. So let's do a dark image here, another dark image. You guys will be familiar with this one. We'll look at it from all angles so you can see there's from the front. You can see I've still got tons of vibrance, lots of contrast, but I'm not losing everything. I have to come all the way over here to match. See that? Because essentially this is sucking up all the light from my projector. Now I want you to look at this picture. Actually, here's a couple of pictures where you can see the exact same thing. I mean, look at the brightness on the wall. Now, granted, I know that the camera's been modified, but still, look at everything you're losing just to get a black background. Now, if all you do is watch a bunch of OLED videos and you have about 5,000 lumens to spare, that may work for you. It may. But if I'm going to watch a television show, a football game, to which point, actually, I'm going to do that. So let's look at something like a football game. Let's see what we're really seeing there. So if I'm watching this during the day, I want this. That's what I want. If I'm going to have all my windows open and I'm going to have all my lights on, I want that. Now I'll turn off the bulk of the light in here. There you go. Now that's the lights off. I want that degree of vibrance in my image. And if I have lights on, I still want it. And I have to step all the way over here watching that screen for it to even match the brightness of this. As I start to walk forward, you can see immediately the Vega starts to overtake it, and I'm not even standing directly in front. I'm off to the side, so let me get over here to the front. Excuse me. There you go. Even off angle. That's what I want. That's what folks that we talk to want. And then you got this thing, which is supposed to be completely and totally impossible, but I want you to see this. Let's do a star field. I see, forget these two for a second, but even with this, while it may hold a darker background, I want this. The background may not be as dark, but the image overall is so much more vibrant, especially when you're face to face, when you're actually standing here watching it, because the way the contrast works in the phone is it tends to make the brights in these a little brighter because it's trying to focus in on it. They're not as bright as it looks in the phone right now. But that's what I want. I want enough contrast to give me the semblance, right? To perceive with my eyes that that's black, right? Meant to be black. But you got to look at, we're in 7,600 lumens worth of room light plus sunlight coming in from all the windows. So I can turn, let's do this. Let's take the light off. So yep, still has a darker background. But that's the only thing that it holds to. The only thing. And it's still dim, very dim when you look at the colors. The colors that are coming up on the Vega are just like snazzy. They're extremely muted in this panel. Extremely muted. Once again, we'll go to the side here. So you can see it's only there that this even compares to the Vega, only on your extreme side angles. So now let's go to something that's a little more vibrant. Let's see, watching something with a lot of good color content. There we go. And once again, let's look at those angles. So much brighter, so much more vibrant. And here's what's key. When I turn the lights back on in full force, you really start to notice the difference because that panel is now trying to suck up all the light that's hitting it. And it just can't hold on. All you're getting is the darkness of the panel itself in extreme lighting conditions. So you have to ask yourself, what are you really going for? Okay? And it's not contrast, guys. I know you hear a lot, well, it's all about contrast. Contrast is way more than just black levels. way more than black levels. As a matter of fact, these aren't really black levels. They look more like brown levels with the way that the light interacts with the screen surface here. And again, on these bright ones, you can see I have to get to the side to even have something that matches. So when you're looking for a screen that actually holds up very well in ambient light, it's not necessary to go black. I would use black screen for a whole different purpose, and I'm going to show you something we're working on here. I'm going to pause and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, so if you look at the high G, this is actually coming, you can see I've got this one covered. This is coming from this 23 lumen window effects unit from, I don't know, right at 10 feet away. Not quite 10 feet, probably about 9 feet 11 inches by the time you take, from lens to lens. But from almost 10 feet away, still, in all the room light, you can pick that up on a black screen. So what we're working for with high G is for folks to be able, now if I turn this light off, you're going to be able to pick it up a good bit better. So what we're working on is a black screen for gamers that have low lumen projectors. Know a lot of them around here in the colleges. They have projectors somewhere between the 400, 600, and 800 range. So what we're trying to do is build something for those guys where they don't have to go out and buy new and expensive projectors. They can just keep the ones that they currently have mounted, and we can, for roughly about $100, they can, paint. Where we're figuring we're going to land is somewhere about a 60 to 80 inch screen, or where these are really going to snazz out. It's going to be bright for them in the right environment. I'm going to pull these down real quick so that you can see in a darker environment, because I am only using 23 lumens. So, that's definitely a factor. If I had 400 lumens, it would be much, much different. But the key really is all about balance, because you want to have balance. Balance meaning that it is as bright from one end of the screen to the other end of the screen from within a certain viewing angle. And you can see even on my extreme viewing angles with only 23 lumens, that very black screen is doing a pretty excellent job. But it's not there yet. We've still got some balancing we have to do. Now, by balancing, this is not just a matter of changing color, guys. We want it to stay black, but we have to do certain things. There's concentration differences that we have to put in place for those to work. Now, I'm going to turn the lights back on because I want you to see, and I'm going to cover this up, how black this is compared to this. Very, very different. All right. But even with that, and the lights off, how much are you picking up on that screen? I have to, once again, not quite the full side angle, because right now it's not as balanced as we want it, but about this angle right here is where they start to line up, right? So that's probably outside of, say, an 80-degree viewing cone, which is more than likely where this is going to end up, somewhere between an 80 and 90. But if you're a gamer, and think about this, guys, if you're a gamer, when are you setting and playing from this angle? You know what I mean? You're going to generally be somewhere within that tight viewing cone of 80 to 90 degrees, and it's not that tight, but that you're going to be within that viewing cone when you're playing. So more information for you guys. I would say take care, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll talk to you soon.